I'm live. Okay, that's the way. Wait, hold on. There we go. Okay. I am I am helping my brain be so flexible by having cameras going opposite ways. It's good stuff, I guess. So good morning. Good morning. I gotta turn off my glasses. I will wait. So hey, hey. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. So good morning. Kelly Smith, hello. Hello. I yeah, this is a surprise. So I decided to Becky Ridgway, walking and listening. Awesome. Cheryl, nice to see you. Oh, I love this. So Laura Voorhees and Becky, you're both walking together. Yes, surprise. Good morning, Louise. Nice to see you, and thank you for the little sunshiny thing. Um, yeah, here was a fun thing. So when you are called for jury duty, there we go. Yeah, see, I love it. Stacy says, got your notice, you're live. Way better than TikTok. Yes. I also, just for a heads up of all y'all, I did send out an email last night letting you know that I would be on today and possibly tomorrow. And there we go. Therapy Gal Sue saw it also on the secret message. So just, you know what? It cannot hurt. Good morning, Carla. Good morning to you and you and you and you. Yes, it is a surprise because I was not frankly sure if I would be called for jury duty today. So what happened was you're on like deck. They send you like official documentation and then they say call this number after 5 and we'll let you know if we need you. And Leslie, I'm glad you got the email. Awesome. I'm glad all the systems of connecting up to my ducklings is good. Is they're working. So yesterday I was in a bit of limbo. Now the cool thing was I was cool with either thing. I was cool with doing a day of jury duty, or I was cool with having what I was calling like a snow day, like of them saying no, we don't need you. And lo and behold, not just lo or behold, lo and behold, um, I called the number and they said, do not come in today. So I was like, woohoo, because you kind of get like the credit for like having, been willing to do the jury duty. So today feels like a snow day without the snow. And I love it. And I thought, well, you know what I did? I'll be honest with you. I said, I was not expecting to have this like, 12 to pretty much 12-hour, time free and open. And I was like, what do I do with it? Because I'm usually coaching today and tomorrow, but I cleared my schedule because I didn't want to disappoint my paying clients. Um, so long story short is I thought, well, what I can do is I can show up for the folks that follow me. I can do some kind of free coaching, and why the heck not? So I am showing up today. It's 9 a.m. And then I think 1 p.m. and also 8 p.m. tonight because I've done those Wednesday night 8 p.m.s. So there we go. Um, Pop Tart Mama is asking, how was my day at my mom's? Crazy. She's a nut. She cannot focus on anything for more than 2 seconds, but I am getting used to that. And I just kind of eyes on the prize and focused. So it was good. I gathered a lot of mail from her. And basically, what I realized was, hey, Bobby from Tampa, nice to see you, McDugs. What I realized, so this may help you. Oh, you're welcome, Laura. I like to be generous when I can. I can't always be generous, but when I can, and I try to look for opportunities to be a generous person. So you're welcome. What I realized, and this may help you if you are helping somebody else declutter, a la I'm helping my mother, is it did not make sense for me to try and complete some of the paperwork tasks at her home. It was going to be frustrating for her and it was going to be frustrating for me because the energy in her house is chaotic and that affects me. So what I did was I basically took a bag. It's around here somewhere. It literally has a lobster on it. If that is not Massachusetts, I do not know what is. And I put the paperwork in a bag and then I brought it home and I dumped it out here in my much more serene, easy to concentrate environment. And based on that, I was able to do a lot of good things with it. So I realized I had to have a strategy, and my strategy wasn't exactly what I had when I walked in, but I was flexible to say, how do I get the results I want? And I had articulated to myself what was important. I wanted to have her pay me back some money, which she did, but I wrote these things down. I wanted her to pay me back for some money that I fronted her. She did that. That was pretty easy. I wanted to make sure that I got any mail she was concerned with. Any, I go through and I really have gotten comfortable just digging around in her stuff for any mail that looks, in what do you call that? Like important, official, just in case. Uh, and I gathered up all of her tax paperwork. I also did this. I also had her sign any of the tax things that she would need to sign so I could do a lot more from here. Okay. Yes. And Lucy, it was like a rock lobster. Rock lobster, rock lobster, rock lobster. Oh. There was something else I was thinking that was important about what I did. Um, Melissa with the 1S, nice to see you. I hope I'm inspiring you all to take action, to get in the car and drive in the direction of your dreams. Does it say that on my? No, every little bit helps. Oh, look, I got a little smudgy thing here. Um, Here was an interesting thing I will share you. Check the authenticity and the veracity of the stories that are being told to you, as well as the stories you tell yourself. Okay. Check the what you're saying to yourself. Is it actually true? Because I had to call my mother's bluff. I had to put up my stop sign hand, stop. And I had to say, wait a minute. You are telling yourself a story about doing your taxes that isn't true. And you are telling yourself a story that's just getting you all riled up for no good reason. Okay. So, and thank you for all the hearts. That was wicked nice. I offer to you to check it for yourself. Is that really true? Okay. Oh, interesting. Pop Tart Mama says, I just read the book, Don't Believe Everything You Think. Oh, completely. Completely. Highly recommended, but same concept. Yes. My mother was telling me, I can't believe it. They make you do hours. If I pay people to do my taxes and I have to do hours worth and piles of paperwork. And I was like, hold on there. And see, here's the thing. She lives alone. So nobody calls her on this. And I said, wait a minute. You and I are looking at your pile of papers and it's about this thin. You have not spent hours on your taxes at all. You have taken the mail in and put it in a basket. I am taking it home and I'm the one who's going to spend, yes, some time on it, but it's not going to be hours. And aren't you also so lucky that you have the money to pay somebody to do the harder stuff? And she had to be like, I guess you're right. But notice that you can tell yourself stories that give you agita, that rile you up, you know? And instead of being riled up, calm the fuck down. Okay. Okay. Because when you're riled up and in that active, reactive, dramatic state, it isn't the best brain and body way to be to get some good shit done or to just feel good, you know? So it was really interesting to me that I am sitting there doing this stuff for her with this little bit. Yeah, but they asked me, they just send me this thing, a questionnaire every year. They send me this thing and it never changes. Why can't I just write same as last year? And I was just like, because maybe they don't know it's same as last year. So literally, notice me, I'm getting all riled up reliving it. I'm going to push that to that was back then. Aren't we so lucky? Aren't we so lucky that we know that we can stop that and then start doing something else? Which is, and actually, you guys can read it on my mug if I don't mess it, which would be slow down, breathe down, write down, chunk down. Yes. And the universe will keep telling you the same message over and over again. Kind of like me. I show up and I say the same goddamn things all the time, but I love it because it's true. It helps. So I do not mind repeating myself. It's just a matter of me saying it in a way that aligns with you being able to have it click and be like, "Oh, duh, I get it now." And if that takes days or months or years, I don't know how long I'll coach, but for now I'm showing up. So what I ask you is, and this is one of the things we do if I were coaching. Yes, Leslie says I have a family member who uses all those excuses, rants, etc. to avoid action. Yeah. Notice that in them. Notice you're observing them doing it. And then what we're trying to do, and not to get all like Buddhist or like wicked life coaching on you, because some of that stuff frankly annoys me. But we are endeavoring to kind of get some distance so we observe ourselves with a bit of detachment and curiosity as we see these things in others, you know, because that's how we are going to learn about ourselves. We're not perfect. I'm sure I am bitching about my mother and getting myself all worked up. And somebody else could say, well, don't do that. But I'm a human and I get that. Um, so yeah. And you know what? You're so kind to give grace. Yes, it has only been in the last 10 to 15, maybe 20 years, I don't know, that I have learned the benefit to myself of not getting all letting go of that worked up feeling as soon as I feel it. As soon as I feel it, it's kind of like somebody throws something at you and but instinctually you grab it. But as soon as you grab it and you realize it's like a turd, a dog turd, you can drop it. Ideally, if somebody throws it to you, you see it before it comes to you and you can dodge out of the way, right? Um, I actually feel sympathy for my mother because when she is in this way and when we are in it, we think it's the truth. She was in the feeling. Her body was feeling and reacting to her words being the truth. She was all frustrated. Some of her was reacting as if it were a giant pile of papers, but it wasn't. Isn't it weird that you can, like, this to me is so freaking interesting that the words in our heads can cause our physical body and our nervous system body to feel something in a certain way. Somebody says, you know, I'm going to punch you in the face and your body right now winces it even though it's just words, you know? Um so I just offer to you practice giving grace to other people when they deserve it. Other than that, just flip them the bird. See, but also practice giving yourself grace. Hey, so Louise says, after listening to you yesterday, moi, ayer, it prompted me to start a dreaded project. I know it's going to take some significant time, effort, and energy, and also make some tough decisions. Okay, so Louise, Louise, I want to help you with this, and everybody, we can learn from this interaction right now. So listen up, okay? Louise, look at how you are describing this project. It's dreaded. It's going to take some significant time and effort and make some tough decisions. Well, no offense, but does the way you're describing that make you want to even show up to start? That would make me like trudge to whatever I have to do. So, yes, exactly. Hush those backseat drivers or the backstreet boys, whatever you prefer. And what I want to offer to you in painting of a duck. Okay, everybody, practice right now. Whatever your dreaded project is, before you even start, this is why I call my coaching. And if we haven't met before, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I'm getting better. Notice how the destination behind me on this road trip is a heart. Okay. You are here at the beginning. You want to get to your destination, but you're framing it in such a shitty way. Who wants to get on that road? So, painting of a duck and Louise, what I would love for you to do, instead of focusing on the dreaded project, focus on the good that it will bring you. When that project is done, when you have gotten there, how is it going to benefit your life? You know, think of the good stuff it will do. If it's not going to do you any good, question why you're doing it. But if you say it's going to be arduous and painful and it's going to be a long journey, you're going to dread it. You're already dreading it. But what could be the benefit? What is the benefit? What is the good thing that is going to come out of your project? And I would love it, Louise, in Painting of a Duck, to just think about that and then write it down. And sometimes people write things in the comments, that helps, but also write it down for yourself. Okay. Good morning, Rochelle. Nice to see you. Okay. Yeah. And I love it. Pop Tart Mama is saying, when I tell my students, is the brain is sometimes a big liar. So pay attention to what you're telling yourself. Yes, do not believe everything you think or read or whatever. Check your sources. Is the source a trustworthy source? And I will say to you, the way I have learned a method of thinking about my brain, I mean, it's my brain, but I think of it as my backseat drivers and my co pilot. And I trust my co pilot. I don't necessarily trust the backseat drivers. So I check them for truth. Is that even true? Okay. So sometimes it can be, but checking for the truth lets you know what you're dealing with, you know? Like the whole time, I could have been dreading going to jury duty this week and oh, this is going to suck. It's going to take my time off. There was a distinct possibility that I was not going to be called for jury duty. So the whole time I was like, well, I may do it, I may not. We'll see what happens. And that made it so much better for me to be working up to actual today. There was a huge amount of chance that I would be called and said, like, I would call and they said, didn't come in. Okay. So everybody, please learn from me. Learn from what has helped me so it helps you. This is why I show up and I do this so much, because I want you, I don't want to just gatekeep and only give the good stuff to the people who pay me. Now that the people who pay me for one-on-one coaching get these messages a hell of a lot more specific to who they are and their things are. But even on the surface, even the general thing of think of what the benefit is. Why am I even going to do this? You know? All right. Melissa is exhausted after my double day in retail. I can only imagine, hun. I can only imagine. So spend some time filling up your not your sleep tank, your rest tank. I had to do that yesterday. I had to do that yesterday around, frankly, around like noontime. I was like, I am so beat. This is comical. So I had the luxury of being able to lay down and just rest. And then I started to feel better throughout the day. There we go. So yeah, so have fun and get it done. So how can you have fun with the laundry and the bedding? You know, when you list more items on eBay, start listing the ones that are going to make you the most money. Don't start with the cheap stuff. Okay? Yeah. And everybody, how can you make it fun? What is going to be the benefit of your efforts? If your efforts do not benefit you, question why you are doing it. Please do. Okay? Um oh, I love this. So Leslie is saying, I'm in the office and I will spend the next 40 minutes we have left cleaning out my file cabinet. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, I love that. This is a measurement, a measured unit of time that we have together. I will be here as I do. Notice the routine. I tend to do a YouTube live for an hour. So we've got about 40 minutes now. It doesn't matter what um, time zone you're in, it's still 40 minutes. So I ask you, what could you do for, even instead of 40 minutes, what could you do for two chunks of 20? Could you do 20 minutes of laundry and 20 minutes of eBay? Could be a thing. Suzanne Cooper, good morning. Oh, you're up early. My West Coasties. I will be doing, just so you know, Suzanne, I will be doing a more West Coast friendly YouTube live today because I didn't get I had cleared my schedule for jury duty and I did not get called. So I will be doing one at 8 p.m. tonight. So just as a heads up. Okay. Now, I love the painting of a duck is doing so good calming the backseat driver with all of my stuff and decluttering and giving myself grace to do the photos when I'm ready. Yeah. So, what I'm going to be working on today, I'll be honest with you, in between my YouTube lives, first of all, I sat down and I started writing down some things that I would like to get done before the end of the day. And with this unexpected kind of windfall of time, and I'm going to be working on these boxes. Now, am I going to do something with all of them? Probably. My plan is to move them because I want to get to some of the stuff in the shelf. So you may see them, you may not see them later on today. My plan is at least by my 8 p.m. Live. Excuse me, you will not see them. They will be around the corner here. So I may see them. They will be out of my sight, but you don't, I'll still see them. But I'm going to start small and I'm going to start, organic, and I'm going to work on that. Hey, Narelle, just saying hi. I randomly found the live again. Oh, it's midnight there. Oh, honey, it's nice to see you, but please get some sleep. Everybody, sleep is the magic ingredient to like everything. Okay. And if you are not sleeping well, help yourself sleep better. But then, anything you can. You may see, actually, it's wicked funny right here. See this thing of my hair right here? You know why that's sticking out? Is because literally I woke up wicked early today and it was a little bit light out, like kind of like the street lights and everything like that. What do you call that? Light pollution. And I put on like a eye mask, a room darkening mask or a eye mask so I could get back to sleep. Yes, sleep and feeling better physically and mentally, those are the magic ingredients to get everything done. Because if you don't have those, we all know what it feels like to try to get anything done with lack of sleep and when you don't feel good physically and when you don't feel good mentally. So that's where we start. Okay. That's where we start. Freddie Pepper. Amen. Kara, good morning. Kara, I hope you got my messages on the TikTok. I've been kind of lurking on TikTok recently. Um, there we go. Okay, Suzanne, it's still dark where you are, but we can hang out. Everybody, grab a beverage of choice, have some water handy. So this is something I would love to elaborate on. And Kara posted something today that I think might hit a lot with us because it does have to do with how we feel about spending, using what we have. Okay? Using what you have and the fear of not having it. So then you kind of hoard it. Okay. This can be food in your pantry. This can be money in your bank account. This can be airline points. And for those of us, and there's a lot of us here who have grown up maybe thrifty or we have been thrifty, you know what I mean? Like we don't spend a lot of money and we associate a certain virtue with not spending a lot of money. Yay, she booked it, you guys. Awesome. Kara booked her nice seat on her airline flight. And what I would love to just share with you guys is notice that our feelings of good about what we save, there could be a hidden flip side of thinking that people who spend money on stuff are not as cool as we are. That, it can be uncomfortable if you're used to living in a thrifty mode. It can be uncomfortable to spend over a certain amount, even if it's like play money, even if it's the game of life money or monopoly money or airline points. I know this myself because I was thinking about it when Kara was posting about it, and I have Chase points, Amex points, um, American Airlines points. And here's the thing about points too, as we just found out from yesterday. Now, I follow a lot of travel on my social medias, that they can change the rules in a minute. If any of you have been enjoying flying on Southwest, they are now going to charge for checked baggage. That is a game changer. They could also drop the value of their play money like you wouldn't believe. So I am going to make an effort of this year to kind of use it or lose it as far as our things go. You know, yes, good stuff, good stuff. So yay, Kara! I'm so proud of you. Yep. Mm-hmm. And the more you do this, the more you do it, Kara, I will say, notice what you're doing is you have, this is how I think of it. Okay, let me share it with you guys. People say get outside of your comfort zone. I say don't get outside of it because it's not comfortable. It's cold. It's like a bubble. I think of kind of the boy in the plastic bubble type of thing, which was also a great song by the band The Cave Dogs, total deep cut Boston pop from the 80s and 90s. But what I will share with you is you have just expanded your comfort zone. It may feel weird, but you have pushed it out. You have stretched your comfort zone to include being in the lie down seats. It may feel different and unusual because you're not used to it. But once you do it, you will have done it and you notice it might feel pretty good. So I encourage all of you, when you're trying something new, that initial discomfort, check it. Is that going to get you a benefit if you stretch it? It's like me going to my strength training classes. Is it going to help me? It's going to be a temporary stretch of my muscles, but then if I do it, I am making that muscle stronger. If you are temporarily doing something you want to do, like that's going to give you a benefit, think of this as expanding your comfort zone. So then you just have like a freaking huge comfort zone. Okay. So, really cool. I'm so glad you did that. I did that on a similar thing when we went to Paris. We were only going to be there for a few days. Now, my friends were all going there because they got wicked cheap flights down in coach. And I said, gosh darn it, we are only going to be there for a fraction of the time. So we need to feel good. It felt very strange. I had to walk myself and my nervous system and my brain through the process of spending 3 times as much money as our friends to ostensibly be on the same plane. But then I've realized, I will share with you just my perspective, is I have cheaped out on myself throughout my life. And I see my mother doing it now too, and she doesn't need to. And so I am trying to change the family narrative, but also realizing that I have cheaped out on travel a lot. And sometimes the enjoyment of the traveling is part of the enjoyment of the whole trip. It's not, oh, it sucked to be in coach and then I got to be here. I want the delight of travel to start the moment I leave my house. And I say to myself, how can I make that happen? And when it seems like it makes sense, we don't do it all the time because then once you do it all the time, it just becomes regular. But that kind of indulgy, splurgy, I can do this thing feels fun. Okay, good stuff. Yes, yes. And notice how you excited you are. And Kara, this is the neat thing. It is a form of self care, your arthritic back and knees. Yes, you're worth it. No, no, no. But notice what happens, you guys. Notice what is happening. Notice the words that Kara is using in the comments. Notice the punctuation she's using, her choice of words, the excitement. This is the thing about doing something really cool for yourself. She is not even on the plane yet. And yet, her decision right now to fly in that class on JetBlue is causing her to right now feel really good. And from now until she's on that plane and beyond, she has that to look forward to. So notice that if you amortize out the amount of money she's spending or points she's spending to the hours and moments of joy that she's getting just with the thought and the looking forward to it, it would be pennies on the dollar versus dreading, oh, we're going to be in coach, but then I'll show up and do it. Right? So, yes, caring for yourself means you are worth it because this is one of my mottos. Feel free to write it down. What do you call that? Embroider it on a pillow. It's better to have memories than regrets. Good memories or memories, even if it wasn't good, oh, that's the time I got, a stomach cramp in, Paris and almost had to poop my pants. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. Ah, shit. Get it? If you were on your deathbed and looking back at this time, would you have said, "Damn, I wish I should have just spent those points"? And now you can look back from your deathbed to be like, "Remember that time I flew lay flat?" Because mark my words, you guys, I am going to be on a lay flat plane within the next couple years going to Australia or New Zealand or both. And it will not be the first time I do that. It will be one of a number of times that I am on a lay flat thing because that is something I really want to get done. And it we think of it as an indulgence, but you know what? Other people do it all the time. This is also what I say. Other people do this all the time. Why can't I? And the only thing that's stopping me is me. All right. So I'm so proud of you, Kara. We are all so excited. Notice when somebody is excited, that excitement is contagious, but also hanging around with people who are wah wah is contagious too. So let's hang around with people who are excited and expanding their nervous systems as opposed to complaining and saying why they can't do stuff. I am outwardly patient with people like that, but inwardly I'm thinking, "Oh, if you only knew that the only thing that's holding you back is you and the words you're saying and you're believing, oh, you could change that." But some people don't want to, you know? So, good stuff. Yeah, I say attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? Yeah. Now, I love this. I saw this pick up after work, but when Kara popped up and she booked Mint, I wanted to make sure I celebrated that and congratulated her and use that as a just a point to think of today. What are you saving for a good occasion? What are you saying, I'm not going to do it now because I'm saving it for later? Save it for later. Remember that song? The English beat, or the beat as they were just called in England. Um, get curious about what you're saving for later and see if you can't make a plan for that stuff now. Because the future, holy majolies, is the future wacky. So, burn those candles, as Irma Bombeck said. All right, Laura Voorhees finished walking the dog. I was going to wash dishes and sort my undie drawer, but I'm going to be kind to my body. Yes, and eat breakfast first because I'm a tad hangry. Yes, and when you treat your body better, your brain and your nervous system will be helped by that. It's like instead of running. So, yay. Anybody hangry here? Please go get yourself a piece of toast. Ideally, get some protein on that thing. Get some water into your system. Everybody hydrate. Hydrate. Help yourself feel better physically, and it will help you feel better mentally. The other thing I tend to do in the morning, if I'm feeling not so good mentally, is I will do a brain dump. I will sit down quietly with my notebook, but here's what I will do. It's strategic. I will take my workbook, I will fold the paper in half. So I have two columns. And on the one side, I will write down all the stuff that's worrying me. I will get it all out, but I will only use up half the paper because I realize there's another side to the story. And then I don't just dump out all that bad stuff and leave it there. No, I consciously then say, okay, what can I do to make myself feel better about this particular situation? And notice this particular situation, this specific situation. What can I do to make myself feel better about this specific thing? And I write those ones down too. And doing that balances the scales and it gives me some actions I can take to feel better. So if you're feeling kind of about what's going on, rightly so, you should be because none of us know and it's worse than ever. However, feeling like it's worse than ever and having it affect how you feel, that will affect what you do. And we don't want ourselves pulling back. We want to be moving forward in the right direction. Okay. So, yay. Yep. Yeah, Laura, a lot of us grew up with thrifty parents. That may be why we have clutter, but we can change it. We can change it. It's what it is basically. This is how I think of it is the reassurance that if you let go of something that you still will be okay. That if you let go of a piece of clutter, you will survive, that you will still be that you won't get in trouble. That if you spend money on something you want, that you'll feel okay, that you won't be judged by somebody. I get a lot of judgy in my family, wicked lot of judgy. So I know about that part. It's the spending of the things is nervous system safety, that I won't get in trouble, that if I need it in the future, it will come to me, and reassuring yourself, giving yourself the assurance that that expenditure is worth it. And that's why I say, kind of check yourself for those stories that you tell yourself. And the stories that really hold us back are those insidious, quiet ones that you may not even know they're there, because if you don't clear off the top layer, the surface layer of those thoughts, you never get to the more interesting ones that are really running the ship underneath. Which is, don't do that, you may need it someday. Don't spend those points. If you spend the money on that, what if you need it here? People who spend money on that's stupid. Why would you spend money there if you could be here back here and coach? People who spend money are like stupid. Smart people are thrifty, you know? So yes, notice these things. Oh, hey, I love it, Narelle. My vote is for Australia. Please come to visit. I'm going to New Zealand in April. I've never been, and I booked business class because I deserve it. I love it. Um, Okay. So very cool, Narelle. I did not know you were in Australia. That's wicked cool. We're planning on going to like the Sydney area because I've got some distant um, family there that I think it would be a good excuse to go there. And we've got a friend from the music biz there too. I will keep you posted, and please let me know how New Zealand was. Okay. So yeah, no, that wasn't Eddie Rabbit was I love a rainy night. And I always think of windshield wipers going back and forth like that. Save it for a rainy day. That was somebody else, but one of those 70s people. Okay. So uh isn't it interesting the things that go on in our heads? Oh, there you go. Elaine Bishop, Stephen Bishop, maybe? Stephen Bishop? On and on. I think I follow his wife on TikTok because she's a smart person in the music biz. Elvin Bishop. Okay, there we go. Yes, I love it. Yeah, what you focus on expands, says McDugs. Choose wisely your thoughts and words. Yes, really. It's like, what is it? Listen twice. What is it? Measure twice, cut once. It's like listen more than you speak and pause before you speak to make sure that what you're saying is true. Now, I get a lot of practice in this because it is so important to me that I do not intentionally or unintentionally say something that could be harmful to somebody or that I don't believe is true. So I check myself every day as I do these things to make sure I listen to myself before I speak, and I run it through my internalized, is this true or lies? And I believe it to be true, and it has helped other people and it has helped me. So before you speak today, to say to yourself, is this really true? Is this going to be helpful or hurtful to me or to somebody else? Am I used to complaining about my mother? Am I used to complaining about certain people in my lives? How does that make me feel when I'm even saying those words? Does that make me feel good? Or maybe if I just let that go, would that feel better? Okay. Heather MC, yo, it's Heather MC in the house. Heather MC says, using Beth's skills to be happy, I sorted 7 boxes in storage versus the 25 I had planned before I was called away. Instead of feeling defeated, I didn't hit my goal. I am celebrating the chunk I accomplished. So good, so good. Yes, you can choose to feel bad about what you didn't do, or you can choose to feel good about what you did do. And that's the beauty of chunking down and moving at a pace that feels right to you. You know? Yeah. Now, Ayers Rock. Ayers Rock. I seem to recall that from what was that movie? Not the Dingo Ate My Baby one, but about the girls' picnic at Hanging Rock or something like that. I don't know. That's what I use the what do you call it? That's what I use the Google for. Notice the story you tell yourself. I'm going to get 25 boxes done today. Cool. Cool, that got you started. But then as you're moving forward at the pace that you are going to move forward through, are you going to hit that mark? Maybe not. Put a destination in to get you started, but if you're not getting there in a way that feels good to you, honor that and enjoy the journey, okay? There we go. It is where the dingo took my baby. Gotcha. Um, Here's a funny thing. This is how I like to describe it. And notice it's just a thought in your head that can make your body feel a certain way. It's going to make you feel good or bad, and the choice is up to you. Let's say you say to yourself, I want to get 50 things done today, right? But you quote only get 25 done. You're not going to typically the negativity bias of the human brain is going to focus on that gap between 25 and 50 and totally dismiss the things from 1 to 25. You're going to focus on what you didn't do, right? But let's say this. Oh, wait, here, let me do the math different. I want to do 100 things and I did 50. Okay. So you're going to focus on that, right? Let's say this, make the bar wicked low. Make the bar wicked low. Say, I plan on doing 25 things today. Now, notice the 50 that you actually got done because you were moving forward in the way that felt good to you. Suddenly, you feel more like a rock star because you did over the 25. Now, instead, and so you did bonus amounts, but the amount that you did never changed. It was all how your brain thought about it, you know? So, yeah, so good. And I love that she says, instead of feeling defeated, I didn't hit my goal, I am celebrating. Celebrate, celebrate, dance to the music. Oh, wait, celebrate, celebrate, dance to the music. I am celebrating what I did do. And that's really what when I'm coaching with people, I basically use two things. I use a workbook, and a good like kind of a good book, your travel guide, and writing down your celebrations. Write down the good stuff. Amplify the good stuff. Hold on to the good stuff. All these boxes right here, they were sorted before I even began. I was bored before I even began. I did not put any crappy things in here. Each one of these boxes sends out waves of good stuff because everything in there is something that I associated a good memory with. That's why I decided to keep it. As I have written on one of these little labels here, evidence of a life well lived. And so I say to you, be careful what you hang on to. And if you don't like it, let go of it. No matter how long you've dragged around that thought or feeling or item, if it doesn't make you feel good, let it go, let it go, let it go. Okay? Now, yes, or Painting of a Duck says, or you did something which is better than nothing. Yes, this is something. You think I give my mantras to you guys? Oh my God, I mantra myself all day. All right? I love it, Painting of a Duck, that you says writing down my celebrations has been a game changer for me. And yeah, this is one of the things I say to myself too. And even as I'm writing down those days where I quote didn't get a lot done, I say I may be moving slowly, but at least I'm moving. And I am going to be whatever pace I move through the day, I'm going to choose to feel good about it. Because every day your gas tank, your like every day, the combination of liquids and energy, just like your car, is different. You go out to your car today, the oil level is different. The quality of the oil is different. The amount of windshield wiper fluid you have in there is different. The amount of gas you have in your tank is different than it was yesterday. And it will continue to be different during the day. The other oils and lubrication stuff and whatever other kind of things that are in your car changes from day to day because you use it. Your body is the same way. So every day you may have a certain pace that you tend to be at, but some days you're going to be faster and some days you're going to be slower. Honor all of those. That's what makes the journey so interesting. And those days where you are not doing as much as you wanted to, that's when you need to take care of yourself. Okay? Now, yeah, you're passing everyone who's just sitting on the couch, you know? So honor the pace that you're moving through life. What I'm noticing, I'll be honest with you, is um, my pace is getting slower as I age. It is. I am noticing that I am going to bed earlier, that I don't care to be up as late as I was, that I am not walking as many steps, but because, I'm trying to get better at it. But as we age, our pace will go slower. Now, I could choose to beat myself up about not being as fast as I used to be, or back then in the past, or I could choose to feel good about the pace I'm moving forward to. Okay. Now, speaking of paces and people moving forward, Leslie, 15 electronic files deleted and 4 paper files recycled, and she still has 15 minutes to go. Rock on, lady. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, speaking of which, do this for yourself. I'm gonna write this down. Shredding. Check your local municipality because I did not have a lot of these last year in my area, but now I know of 2 shredding events. So if you have paperwork that you are not comfortable just putting in your recycle bin, check to see if any of your local services are doing like a free shredding event. One of our representatives is having one, is sponsoring one in April, and I think another one is happening through one of like the county or something like that. Um, there we go. Painting of a Duck is going to get our kids off to school. We will be on the next live today. Yes, 1 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Um, because why not? This is fun. This is helpful, right? I'm not going to show up unless you're getting something out of this. But check for your local listings to see if there is a shredding event. I realized that I can build another trip around my mom's house to finish the attic and also around a shredding event because she has kind of legacy paperwork that's been hanging around that I want to be able to get rid of safely. So we only have the most recent documents. Okay. Um, so check your local listings to see if those are around. Okay. Just wanted to offer that too. What else? Um, yeah. Getting your thoughts out of your head and onto paper, total game changer. Total game changer. And what I offer to you is don't just set it and forget it. Write things down and go back to what you wrote down. Don't just pack it away and move forward. It helps to reflect and look at what you did. Okay. There we go. Yes. Laura, I love that. Laura says, I need more rest from night rehearsals, like the musical I'm doing. So I put naps on my schedule and then I get to cross it off when I take one. Yes. Schedule the things that are going to make you feel better. I do that. And sometimes I don't schedule them, but I make them happen. Because what you put on your schedule, you will more likely get done than if you don't what that you if you don't do it at all. If you keep a thought in your head, there's a percentage chance you'll get it done. If you write it down on a random piece of paper, there's an increase in the likelihood of you getting it done. But instead of writing it down on a random piece of paper, if you write it down on a piece of paper known as a calendar and you specify the time that you're going to do it, the day you're going to do it, the time you're going to do it, and for how long, that will triple digit increase the likelihood of you doing something. Am I right? Yes. Yes, I am right, actually. It was rhetorical, right? Think about that. Think about the things that are important. Think about the appointments you make with other people. Doctor's appointments, tax people appointments, um, lunch dates, classes you've signed up for. When you have that external accountability with somebody, Oftentimes, those are the things that make it onto your calendar. And we rarely think to calendarize the things that would benefit just solo mio, just me. Get into the habit of using your calendar more. And if you look at your calendar, I will share this one because it comes from just coaching and also my mom. If you are only used to using a month-long calendar, the month only gives you that much space for each day, but each day has about 18, 24, even just 12 hours that if you use, and this is what I do every freaking day, is I will write down, I will give myself space to do the stuff. And I notice the gaps in between, and I make sure there are gaps in between so I can rest. And when there aren't gaps in between, I make sure that those chunks are finite and infrequent. I know a lot of people have resistance to schedules because that they have had extra somebody else's schedule foisted upon them. This comes from school, this comes from working for other people. But I will say this, if you can notice that, you notice your resistance. It was funny. I was talking with a friend of mine as we walked down to our strength training class about she and her husband. They're both now retired. And she wanted to put up a whiteboard to put some stuff done, but he has like PTSD because he had a crappy boss who used a whiteboard. Now, I don't like whiteboards. I don't like anything that screams, I am in a boring office because I never freaking wanted to be in a boring office to begin with. So I use different things. I use a 50-cent notebook. I use a really nice little book that I bought in Barcelona. Okay. But notice where you may have a sneaky thought, backseat driver, that's stopping you from playing with creating a schedule that works for you for your day. Okay. All righty. Now, Judy Dukes. Okay, Pop Tart Mama, you got to run. That's cool. Ellen, nice to see you. Yeah, I am going to have a day for myself, but I'm sharing my day with myself, Ellen. I'm here for the next 7 or 8 minutes, and then I'll be back at 1 p.m. Eastern, and then I'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern because I've gotten into that habit of doing an 8 p.m. Um, YouTube Live on a Wednesday. So why the hell not? Okay, but yeah, nice to see you. Now, Judy Dukes, notice this. This is where we get curious about stuff. I tried making a schedule a couple of times and then I don't follow them. But notice you said, I need to try again because I hadn't left any gap times. Yes, the reason we zoom into the day is to make sure that there are gaps between your activities. You need the rest time, the stop that keeps you going. Cumberland Farms, am I right? You need the stops to keep you going. So notice, Judy, just notice that your approach to scheduling didn't get you the result you want. And you know that because you didn't use the schedule. There was something about you that said, this process this way is not working. Right? So, yeah, you can do that again. So make it be like teeth. There's spaces in between them. Make sure there are spaces in between them. I'm looking at my schedule and every day is a little bit different, you know? So every day will be a little bit different, but make sure there are gaps between things whenever possible. Sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes it's not, but many times it is, especially if you are lucky enough to have control over a portion of your schedule, okay, your time. Now, LO says, I have trouble consolidating my notebook, calendar, and habit tracker. Okay, Judy Dukes, I will see you at 8. Love it. LO, here's what I do. Maybe this will help you. This is how I use my tools that are in my toolkit that I show you how to use. I love it. Melissa got her dishes done, laundry started, coffee made, and going to start her eBay party. Yes, put the things on there that are going to make you the most bucks and let us know how much money you made. Okay, that'll be wicked fun. My calendar for me, my monthly calendar and my primary is and with a lot of my official stuff, my hard scheduled things is a Google Calendar that I use on my computer and I use on my phone. That's where I look at the monthly calendar. And because of the flexibility of a digital calendar rather, I can also look at my weekly calendar. So I can see a week at a glance and I can see the things that I have blocked in, the chunks that I have blocked in. So my big calendar is only digital. The only calendar I do on a daily basis is my daily basis one is the written down one. And even a lot of these blocks right here are also represented on my Google Calendar. And I tend to keep this on my desk next to my computer. I also have my good book here next to my computer. I have created a home for these things, so I always know where to go to look for these things. And my habit tracker is also right in this area. And what I do to make sure I've got it there is I put it on a clipboard that I have. And I've got some things to catch up for both of those. Okay. Having them all in one pile, in one spot, creates that habit of going to that one place and doing that thing. Does that help? Okay. And how I do it is this is I will primarily my um, digital calendar will have the things where I am really booked for somebody else. And I do this strategically because my husband and I share a calendar. So he knows not to bug me. He knows to look at the calendar before he bugs me because I might be coaching. I do this so I can see on my calendar if a client gets in touch and I can see my calendar on stuff. This one's a little bit more loosey goosey. This is when I sit here and I just put my thoughts down on paper to say, okay, these are the things I have scheduled for the day, but what are some other things I'd like to get done? And I give myself, again, I fold it in half so I have a place to just do a brain dump of some other things I want to get done. I am in the habit of not writing those things down in random places, but writing them down here. I also use a place if I'm out and about on a walk or anywhere where I'm not at my computer to get to the paper parts, is I have an app on my phone that I can talk text those things that would be the random things. And then I take it from that kind of main list and I will write it down on my today list. Okay. So I hope that helps. It may seem like a number of things, but I will say they all work together to help you to get things done that make you feel good. And a lot of what I have on my habit tracker are just random things that if I do not write down, and it's pretty much the things that will help my physical and mental health. It is getting up and taking a walk. It is drinking water. It is taking vitamins. It is doing some stretches. It is getting some protein. It is brushing my teeth. Some of those things that if I do not track it, my brain, there's a part of my brain that just will forget to do those things because I get focused on other things because they are so mundane. But me tracking those little things sets me up for success. I have already pretty much finished my first water for the day. I am psyched that I took my vitamins when I got up, and I got up early enough and the sun was out that I took a walk. Okay. That's how those things all work together. And it takes practice. Did I do this before? No, I've only done this in maybe the past 7 to 10 years. Okay? But I'm offering to you a set of tools that works for me. Here, it's like a craftsman toolkit. I ideally am showing you how to use them, and I just recommend to you play with it. Play with it, see how it works, but also find out when it doesn't so that we can then modify how you're using it until it feels easy enough to use it. And a lot of the ease of use comes with repetition. Okay. So do not give up. Get curious why it didn't work for you and then do something different to increase the likelihood. Now, I like to look at these things, and I've always been a how can we make this work better kind of person. So I can help you with this. Okay. So, speaking of that, it just turned 10 o'clock here on the East Coast. Okay. Yes, practice and adjust, practice and adjust. And we will always be practicing adjusting. Okay. I love it. Leslie says, enjoying yogurt and strawberries, so healthy. Mwah. And thinking what I'll get done during our next session. Okay. I'm going to say what I'm going to do between now and the next time we meet. I sound like I'm going on my coaching things, is you will see far fewer of these boxes here. Now, am I saying you're not going to see any of them behind me? No, because I'm going to decide a method that makes sense for me. So I'm not just simply moving things from point A to point B, but I'm making decisions along the way. I'm excited to get into it. I'm curious what's in the boxes. I have an idea of how I want to do it. I'm going to play with it. And if it works, I'll do it. And if it doesn't, I'll adjust it along the way. Okay. So I hope all of you have a wonderful day. I am so psyched that Kara booked her flight. Wicked excited. I will be showing up in 3 hours, I guess it is, at 1 p.m. Eastern. What can you do in this next 3 hour window? And even if your time isn't all your own now, pull back 10%. 10 minutes, would that be 10 minutes? Even 6 minutes every hour for yourself. Go get off, get away from your desk and do a walk. Drink some water, take a stretch, go stretch your eyeballs, see something outside, and take some time for yourself between now and the next time we meet. Okay. Heck, maybe I'll even take a shower. Novel idea. All right. This was wicked fun. I'm so glad I got to spend my time with you guys, and I will see you soon in a couple hours. All right.